Hey guys, it's Monday. That means it's time for another weekly draft video here on the Innistrad Magic channel. We're doing more Shadows over Innistrad, which we'll be doing for several more weeks. Before we get started though, do want to let you guys know that I have started a Patreon campaign. If you like my content, if you want to see it get more numerous and higher in quality, you can help me do that by donating on Patreon. The link is in the description for this video, and I'll be back with you guys when the draft fires. Okay, so Sin Prodder is really good in limited, so it's probably what we take, especially because we don't have any like removal in this pack. But Sin Prodder is quite good in limited, not as good in constructed. I think LSV is the one who pointed out that it's kind of the opposite of Dark Confidant, who's not that good in limited and amazing in constructed. So I think we take the Prodder probably. Other cards that are anywhere close to Prodder on power level are these two uncommons, I think, Briarbridge Patrol and Incorrigible Youths. The rest of the packs, I don't think anywhere close to the power level. I mean, Ghoul Caller's Accomplice, Drownyard Explorers, Convicted Killer, Apothecary Guy, Snibboleth of Dusk, Vessel of Nascency, and Twins of Morrow State are all cards I'm happy playing in decks of those colors, especially if they have like synergies with the Vessel, for example. But, yeah, I think we just take the Prodder. It's just the strongest card. It's a Bogart Brute with upside, so that's what we'll take. Okay, no red card here that I really want to be taking with my second pick, but there is a strong green card in Lamholt Pacifist. I think that's probably what I take. Stormrider Spirit's solid. Intrepid Provisioner's fine. But I think the strongest card in this pack is actually the Pacifist. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything in this pack, especially close to the Pacifist. I guess if you're in like a control deck that runs hardly any creatures, Biting Rain could be good. But, I mean, you know, again, lots of playables here. Like all of these cards, you know, all of the cards in this pack, other than Invasive Surgery, are playable. And Hope Against Hope is probably the weakest playable, but I guess you can make it work sometimes. But, yeah, I'll take the Pacifist and see. We may be red-green werewolves. We could also just be red-green aggro. Who knows? Red may completely dry up altogether. So, but I wouldn't mind playing our Prodder. Okay. Well, there's Epitaph Golem, who enables a pretty sweet deck in the format where you just like mill yourself forever. I like Stitched Mangler, and I also like Geist Blast, because it's actually removal. I'll probably end up taking the Blast. I could take a Byway Courier, which is a solid card, I guess, instead. I mean, it's, you know, it's, I mean, Geist Blast, if we're not blue, is kind of a, you know, subpar removal spell. So maybe I should just take the Courier. Stitched Mangler is good, too. I mean, and Epitaph Golem is too, if you end up with Crawling Sensation, basically, and you can make a deck where you just put cards back in your library after you've milled yourself all the way, and you can draw whatever you want. But I think I am actually going to take the Courier here. So Erdwall Illuminator being there is kind of a sign that blue's open, because it is pretty strong. I mean, there are better things you can take, though, to be fair. And this pack doesn't have anything great for us in green or red. Not a fan of Equestrian Skill, even though I have two humans at this point. Murderous Compulsion is nice, so I could either take like a removal spell and go into black-green, or I could take an Erdwall Illuminator. I mean, at this point we don't have any removal, so I think taking removal seems appealing. And usually if there's removal around, it's a good sign that the color's sort of open at least. So let's take this over the Erdwall Illuminator. Okay, Deadweight's a really good sign that black's open. I mean, Murderous Compulsion's not a really big sign, but Deadweight definitely is. So we'll pick up on that sign and take Deadweight and move into black here. Pyrehound is a card, but you do need to be like the blue-red deck for it to be really good. Ember Wolf is fine-ish. There's better 2-drops for sure, but if you need one, it's playable. But I'm definitely not taking those two red cards just because they're red over a card the quality of Deadweight. Okay, Crow of Dark Tidings. I think I'm okay with that. This Bloodmad Vampire is a solid card. So I could take that. But I think it's a pretty good chance black is open. This may not be the best sign that red's open. Blue looks openish with Stormrider Spirit. But, I mean, the Vampire's good, but it's not that late in the pack that someone should have snatched it up. But I think we just take the crow here. Oh yeah, black is open. I'm glad I, saw the compulsion, then the dead weight, and now Giss is bidding, which is really good. Red doesn't look open at all, and in green, honestly, doesn't look that open either. So we may lose some of our early picks, but we're making up for it here by picking up some high-quality cards late in the pack. Farbog Revenant's really good too, but it's no Geese's bidding, so. Okay, well, here's Crawling Sensation. Is that Epitaph Golem going to make it back to us? I don't know, but I'm taking Crawling Sensation. We're in the two colors that can best get Delirium. Some of the best cards with Delirium are actually white, but I think we take it. Wildfield Scarecrow is also worth looking at, but this thing just has so much upside. I mean, the rest of the cards in the pack just aren't that great. And if we get that Epitaph Golem back, we're going to be really happy. Okay, here's a Vessel and a Ghoul Caller's Accomplice. And the Vessel is very good. I think we take it. It's good at getting us Delirium, so I think I'll take it. Also works well with Crawling Sensation. So human-wise, we have two of them so far. So Provisioner isn't terrible, but the question is Stallion of Ashmouth going to be better in our deck? I mean, they're both 4 mana 3/3s. This one actually has Trample, though, which I think is relevant. And we have a couple humans, so I think I'm actually going to take it. Yeah, I'll take an Explosive Apparatus. It's good at getting you Delirium and its removal. Vampire Noble's fine, but I think I'd rather have that. Okay, I'll take the Snapper away from somebody. I could have taken the Green Aura as a sideboard card, I guess, but yeah, I mean, Crawling Sensation coming to me. I've tried this deck a couple times, and I'll be honest with you that it hasn't gone super well so far when I've done it. I've either not gotten into my hands on an Epitaph Golem or not gotten a good finisher. But we have 2 whole packs to figure that out, so hopefully we get our hands on something. So we'll have to see. But it is a sweet deck when it comes together. I mean, I've had games where it really comes together, but never a whole. I think I've gone 1 and 2 both times I've tried to draft the Crawling Sensation deck. Okay, here I will take this. I mean, it's likely-ish that we pick up more humans, too. There's the good 2-drop who make zombies from the graveyard, and those things all go well with our Provisioner. Some discard outlets wouldn't hurt either between our Geese's Bidding and Murderous Compulsion. So those would be nice. But we do have 1, 2, 3 cards that are good at getting us Delirium already. But we don't have a card that says Delirium just yet. I'll take this away from someone. But that's pretty good considering we started like in red. That we got this many playables in our first pack. So black, I mean, that late deadweight is just, if you ever see one late, that's a great sign that black's open. And we picked up on it and went into it when red wasn't giving us much. Thing in the Ice and Bygone Bishop. These are both pretty high quality cards. Thing in the Ice does take some work. There's another Crow here, but there's also an Accursed Witch who is kind of a finisher. Here's a good card with Delirium that's not black or green, and here's another one. So I think, like, ideally, this deck probably splashes white somehow. But I think we probably take the Witch here. These cards are both great, especially Bygone Bishop, but I don't think we're going to be playing white. I could see us trying to, but we've got like a good double black card and stuff like that. Olivia's Bloodsworn's worth looking at too, but I think the Witch is stronger in our deck. I wouldn't mind getting the Crow back, and it's possible that we do. Crow works really well with Crawling Sensation. Even though I haven't been like hugely successful, I've definitely had games where I had one deck like this where I had 3 Crows and Crawling Sensation, and getting an insect, when it comes into play and dies, it's sort of like you build your own Eldrazi Sky Spawner. Ooh. Duskwatch Recruiter, yes please. Another Geese's Bidding too, which is great, but it's no Duskwatch Recruiter. Nearheath Chaplain is another high quality. These 3 uncommons are very high quality, and if you were going to ask me how I rank them, I think I'd put Duskwatch Recruiter, Nearheath, and then Geese's Bidding. But they're all like first pickable a lot of the time. They might have been in this pack too, although it looks probably like our opponent took our person who passed it to us took something like Fiery Temper or some common. Wouldn't mind getting back Twins or Sanitarium Skeleton or Shard of Broken Glass either, so those are all good to know. I doubt we get back to Bidding, but we did get the other one pretty late. We definitely take the Recruiter here. Another human, too, so our Intrepid Provisioner likes that. Cursed Witch, also a human. So we got some humans. So we can try to splash red if we take this. Dauntless Cathar is pretty good, and so is Puncturing Light. So maybe white's a little bit open, but there's good black cards here too in Rancid Rats and Farbog Revenant. The question is, which do I like more? And I don't really know if I know what the answer is. I've been very pleased with both when I've had them. We could also just take like this guy, which is kind of a finisher. Not an exciting one, but I bet I can get one later. And here I should just take like one of either the 2-drop or the 3-drop. Rats. I mean, they trade with anything, and they have evasion just like this does. This does have lifelink, but I think I like Rancid Rats a little more than Farbog Revenant. It's also a zombie, on the off chance we pick up some zombie synergies. Ooh, there we go. That's a payoff for Delirium, and it can get you Delirium. Pale Rider of Trostad is good, and so is Murderous Compulsion, and I kind of wish I could take that because we do have 2 good cards with Madness, but I think we want the Gloom here. I think that's the best card for our deck in this pack. Another Thornhide Wolves I wouldn't mind. And definitely Murderous Compulsion and Pale Rider I wouldn't mind. But we're going to take this enchantment. It's like the one made for this deck. So, okay, we do have Harvest Hand, who is an artifact creature. So if it gets milled, it's half of Delirium. We also have a Crow, who helps us get Delirium. And a Watcher, who is quite good as a blocker. But it's not very good at doing anything else. So I think it's either the Crow or the Harvest Hand. I mean, they both have Delirium synergies when you think about it. And we do have humans to, like, get extra benefit out of that. But I am leaning towards the Crow. I mean, these flying creatures can definitely present more of a problem to an opponent than the ground ones can. So I'll take it. Okay, here. Ooh, here we go. We need something like this in our deck. That's been the thing I've been missing the other times I built this deck, because I just couldn't get my hand on like a sweet 6-drop like Kessig Dire Swine. I would like this Scarecrow too, because it's half of Delirium, but I think we take the Swine here. He goes all the way to the 6. We could just take that Ongoing Investigation and splash blue. No, I don't think we want to do that. That's still not the 6, is it? There you go. So here we have a solid sideboard card and a card that is sometimes playable that does like Delirium. I think I'm actually going to take the sideboard card over Might Beyond Reason. Yeah, I will. Okay, Throttle, I don't mind. It's removal. Grounds Creeper is not terrible if you need to get lands back, and Shard of Broken Glass also isn't bad, but I think we have several ways to get Delirium already, and we're probably going to pick more up. I think what we need more of is removal, and I'll take this Throttle. For sure. And another Crow, sure. These things, there's always way more of them than there should be. Ooh, that thing came back. Wow, black is stupid open. We definitely need a discard outlet to really take advantage of it, but even if you don't, yeah, yep. But even if you don't have that, it's pretty good. I mean, you know, what was that card called in Battle for Zendikar? The 4 mana put 2 Knight Allies into play. Even without ally synergies, that card was good. And this is similar. Even without either zombie or madness synergies, Geese's Bidding is good. Okay, I probably take Loam Dryad here. I mean, it can enable a splash if we want. It's not terrible to side in against X2s and stuff like that. I think that's the best of those cards. I'll let someone else have Chaplain's Blessing. But yeah, these, every time I want Crows of Dark Tidings, I can get several of them. And don't get me wrong, they're not incredible, but they're pretty solid. I mean, a 3-mana 2/2 who helps you get Delirium, which, granted, right now we just have 2 cards that really care. But still. Okay, so Avacyn's Judgment is nice. So is Angelic Purge, but I think we probably want Sinister Concoction. Helps us get Delirium. It's a Madness outlet. We finally have one of those. And it's a removal spell, so it fits really well into our deck. Cult of the Waxing Moon, we actually have... I guess we only have 2 werewolves. I thought we had 3. This isn't a werewolf, though. Actually, it does count, though. I've been looking for a card that counted that's not a werewolf, and this is one, because it says whenever a permanent you control transforms into a non-human, and this is a permanent, and it does not transform into a human, so it would count that. So it's kind of a flavor fail of sorts. Courier's good, too, but not as good as Concoction, so we'll just take the Concoction here. I would not mind seeing an Epitaph Golem somewhere in this pack. You take another vessel. You take a land that helps us do stuff. We probably just want another vessel, though. Yeah, Hound of the Firebogs isn't exciting. We already have one apparatus. And Fortified Village is, could be nice, but our colors seem so open to me that I'm not that worried about it. So I'll take another vessel here. I would not mind like another Dire Swine. That would really strengthen our deck. At this point, we probably don't need this, although it is an artifact, so we may consider it later. Okay, well, there is a fork in the road, which you could take because it would help us fix, and it gets you halfway to Delirium all on its own. Make sure you hit a land drop. Don't really like the vessel or to pick the brain. Don't really want a second Loam Dryad or a second explosive apparatus. So I think I'm going to take the fork. I mean, maybe we see something that makes us want to splash. We do still have Sin Prodder, and he does actually help with Delirium in a weird way. I didn't really think about that synergy. But he's not nearly as good if you can't play him on turn 3. I mean, he still does things, but... Yeah, maybe I should have picked up... I think we did see the red-green land at one point. Would have been interesting, certainly. Okay, so we have Ever After, which works pretty well with milling yourself. Just getting back a couple, solid creatures. Although, right now, we don't have that many. Dire Swine's the big one we can get back. We may just take another Provisioner. That might just be my plan. I mean, this does have graveyard synergy, and getting back a Provisioner and an Accursed Witch isn't terrible, although the Witch doesn't actually go to the graveyard because she returns transformed, which is kind of a non-bow, I guess, with Delirium. Do we want Ever After? I mean, it does give us some late game something. I think I'm going to take it. A second Crawling Sensation. See, we're getting all we need to get Delirium, but we haven't picked up that many payoffs for it. We got our Autumnal Gloom and our Kessig Dire Swine, and that is about it. Unless I'm missing some smaller... Nope, that's it. So I think I'm just going to take the solid creature instead of a second one of these. I mean, we do have the synergy of crows and vessels, because it's any time a land goes to my graveyard, I get an insect, but I just, one's probably enough in a world where we have lots of other ways to get Delirium, first of all, and second of all, we don't have Epitaph Golem. I mean, there's a chance we see one. If we had Epitaph Golem, I'd go all over it. I'd just take that Crawling Sensation, but we're just going to take the solid 3-drop over another enchantment. I'm probably going to see an Epitaph Golem now. Here's a small Delirium payoff and another small Delirium payoff. Do I take the rare Mana Rock, which is going to be online a lot of the time, or the solid blocker early who turns into a 3/4 pseudo Tarmogoyf, as some people have called it later in the game? So, I mean, we ramp a little bit, but I think we probably just take the Scavenger. Oh my god. 3 of those. I do have Thornhide Wolves again, but man, I can't turn down 3 Geese's Biddings. That's stupid. Ooh, there's a big Delirium payoff. Okay, now I feel good. Now I kind of wish I'd taken the other Crawling Sensation, but we still have enough ways to get Delirium. This is one of the best payoffs for getting Delirium, Kindly Stranger, for sure. Wicker Witch is, helps you get Delirium, doesn't do much else. I mean, I guess it trades for something. I think I'm going to take the Vessel over the Hound for my sideboard. Although the Hound isn't terrible, but the Vessel's a good sideboard card. So, we don't want Fork in the Road, I don't think. Probably don't want Loam Dryad either. What else do we not want? This is hard. Whew. It is hard. Our colors have just been so open, we've picked up a lot. I don't think we want to cut a Vessel, where we now have 2 really good Delirium payoffs in Kindly Stranger and Autumnal Gloom. I'll take another apparatus. It's removal I can take away from somebody. And we might play it, but I don't know. We'd probably play the Witch just because she's very good at getting us Delirium. Groundskeeper. And a Vampire Noble. So Ever After may not make the cut. We just don't have like amazing reanimation targets. And we'd actually, I mean, like, you know, usually you're fine if you bring that back like a 4-drop and a 3-drop with it. Like, that's plenty, but our best 4-drop isn't a creature, and our other 4-drop won't be in our graveyard. So none of our 4s except Intrepid Provisioner can come back. You know, getting 2 Byway Couriers is fine, but I don't know. It definitely gives us some late game punch, and it works well since we'll be milling ourselves. So that's something to keep in mind. But man, let's group creatures separately, and then you're all sorceries. You're an instant. You're a sorcery. Sorcery. We actually only have 1 instant. Oh no, we have 1. That's it. That's bad for Delirium. I mean, since we'll be milling ourselves a lot, it's not a huge deal. We'll easily get land, creature, enchantment, sorcery. Like, we have plenty of all of those, so we'll get that easily. So, I mean, Throttle can probably get cut. I mean, it is a clunky removal spell. We don't have... I mean, we have other removal spells, but we don't have a ton of them. But Throttle's definitely on the chopping block, and I think so is Ever After. I'd like to hold on to everything else down here. I wish we ended up with more discard outlets after ending up with 3 Geese's Biddings, but what are you going to do? So our Provisioner can pump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our creatures, and it's, you know, 4 mana, 3/3 with Trample, which isn't bad, but it's also not exciting. I mean, Ever After does work well. Like, we didn't get any Macabre Waltzes. Ever After does work well if we mill one of our creatures we really like, too. Like, getting back Kindly Stranger is pretty nice. So I think we probably leave Ever After in since we didn't get any, like, Macabre Waltzes to get cards back from our graveyard. I mean, Moldgraph is... I mean, normally it's a card that might be on the chopping block, but I think it's better in this deck than Intrepid Provisioner is. So I think I'm going to cut that guy. He does have Trample, it's worth noting, but I feel like we can do better. I mean, maybe we lose 1 Crow or 1 Vessel, since we also have Crawling Sensation and Sinister Concoction to help us get Delirium. I just don't know. I mean, I guess even with Delirium, Moldgraph Scavenger is probably our worst remaining, our worst 2-drop. And like Wicker Witch is definitely our worst 3. And maybe we don't need it because it's 2 types, because we have such a nice assortment of enchantments, some of which throw themselves in the graveyard. Like, all of these end up in the graveyard easily. Deadweight's the hardest one to get in the graveyard. And we have 4, 5 sorceries. Then we have lands, creatures, and yeah. So I can probably lose either a Crow or a Vessel. Question is which one. I think we can probably take out 1 Crow. Normally I would probably play 3, but we just have so much going on. And I could probably cut Wicker Witch. And, I mean, we're down to 12 creatures now. I don't really want to go much lower. And what else do we cut? Vessel? Maybe. I mean, that does leave us with 2 Crows and 1 Vessel that are really good at getting us Delirium. Maybe it's just Throttle. I mean, you know, it's fine, but we have better removal. And I mean, we may think about siding it in against opponents where, like, you know, Deadweight's just not getting it done. But Sinister Concoction and Murderous Compulsion can kill anything close to it anyway. All right, Ever After, in a deck with 12 creatures isn't going to be amazing, but in a deck where we're milling ourselves, I think it'll be fine. We'll have cards in our graveyard at least. All right, I think this is our deck. I'm not in love with it or anything, but it is. Oh, we also have Kindly Stranger as removal, which, yeah, definitely cut throttle. Let me look at. I'm going to divide this into card types now, since that's actually relevant here. So this is a creature. You're all sorceries. I just want to make sure it's going to be as easy as I think for us to get Delirium, and we don't need something like Wicker Witch or Explosive Apparatus. You're a creature too. Creature, enchantment, creature. I mean, I guess I know how many creatures I have. Sorcery, and you're all enchantments. And then we have lands, obviously. So, I mean, I think there's enough spread there, like between these three types, that it's not going to be that hard for us to get Delirium, even without playing any instants or artifacts. We'll see if I'm right. But I don't, I mean, what would I take out for Wicker Witch? Take out like a Byway Courier? Byway Courier is just a better card, like a lot better. So I think we leave it as is. 10 and 7. Yeah, with the 3 Geese's Biddings, that's probably close. But I might go 9-8 since we do have plenty of green. All right, well, we'll see. I mean, our Dire Swine and our Accursed Witch and Zombie tokens are our big win conditions. So, in Crawling Sensation, insect tokens are gonna be pretty nice in our deck too. But we didn't end up with Epitaph Golem. We should have taken that early one we saw. All right, this will be the deck. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in match 1, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.